My name is Patrick, and I'm going to be playing Ryuutama role-playing game solo using the Mythic Game Master Emulator. I have that printed out. The first thing I need to do, though, is create a character, and so here it goes. So I'm going, because my character is going to be alone, I thought having high strength for a lot of hit points and better carrying capacity would be helpful. So we have a D8 hit points. Dexterity, I want a D6. Intelligence, a D6. And then that leaves me with having to put a D4 in Spirit. Spirit is a very important stat, but unfortunately I feel like I have to make sure that my character is combat ready, and so having a decent dexterity and intelligence for the initiative will be very handy. I'm also planning on making, he's also going to be a attack type, so I'm going to put so he'll end up with double strength, that's just 16, and then add 4 for the attack type, so that's 20 hit points. And then that leaves him with 8 mental points or mind points. Carrying capacity is strength plus 3, so 8 plus 3 is 11. For mastered weapons, you start with 1 mastered weapon, and then the attack type will actually give my character another mastered weapon. Based on the long-term plans that I have for this character, I'm going to go with at least the light blade. And then as far as another mastered weapon, I want to go with a pole arm. I'm actually going to have him start out with a pole arm as well. So the pole arm, or spear, its accuracy is strength and dexterity, and its damage is strength plus 1. Durability of 3. I don't plan on having any shield or armor at this point, and my traveler's outfit will be simple clothes. Another thing is it has a where you put down who your Ryujin is, and I don't want to write one down yet. In the first session, the Ryujin probably won't do much anyways, so I'm going to make a Ryujin for the next session and figure that he or she had been there all along. Now for character name, I'm going with Justinius. I don't know if that's how you spell it. Level 1, 0 EXP, gender male, age, I like the age 23. For class, I'm going with the healer class. For image color, I'm going to go with a purple. I plan to use this miniature here to represent him. In this miniature, he's using a dagger, whereas my character is going to be using a pole arm, but I plan to switch to a dagger at 2nd level. His hometown, I haven't thought about what his hometown should be, so I'll leave it mysterious and flesh it out later. So why is he going on the road? There's reason for travel. These are cards from a game called Anima, which is a tabletop card game, like a board game. I'm going to use them just to create the initial reason for his journey, and I'm going to probably modify what's written on there to better suit the kind of tone I'm going for. So this one says, enter in the central zone, Demos, or the dark area, to slay Illumia the Dark Angel. So his reason for traveling is he's going to the central zone. Going to the central zone, wherever that is. And it says to slay Illumina the Dark Angel. I can say that that's something like in order to meet, going to the central zone to meet with, I like the name Illumina. Now why is he's a healer, why does he need to go meet with Illumina? To see if she will take him as an apprentice. Alright, and so here's the other sort of worksheet we're going to work with. It's the worksheet for the Mythic GM Emulator. So we already have an NPC character. We have Illumina. Who's like the healing mentor. We also have a thread. A thread is sort of like, you know, a goal or something that needs to get resolved in the adventure. And so the thread is travel to the central zone. And then I'll put as a separate thread apprenticeship with Illumina. So the first thing we need to do is set up the first scene. Justin is packing his things and getting ready to leave. Now, because this is the first scene, I'm going to break with the typical how you do these how you do scenes with the Mythic Game Emulator, but I'm going to do something. I'm going to go ahead and make it an altered scene. I'm just going to say that it is. So when you have an altered scene, you roll for event meaning and event meaning the action, event meaning subject, and you kind of use those two to. So for action I got 6, which is triumph, and for the subject 91, triumph weapons. Alright, so here's how I'm interpreting that. Is Justin has his things all packed up and he's getting ready to go. His buddy, we'll just call him well, we can roll, come up with a name. So for this, I plan to use this book. It's called the Perilous Wilds, and they have some names in the back. Alright. His buddy is named Irwin. So Irwin says, "Hey Justin, you're not leaving just yet, are you?" And Justin's like, "Yeah, actually, I'm eager to get on the road." Irwin looks probably a little dismayed and says, "Are you sure you can't stay just a little bit longer And Justin's like, I know you're gonna miss me, but this is what I have to do. I have to. This is all I've talked about for over a year. And Erwin said, I know, but just, we didn't really have a big going away party or anything. And Justin's like, Erwin, I don't like parties. What's this all about? Erwin's like, Justin, before you go, I wanted to give you this. And he hands him, triumph weapon, a masterfully crafted spear, a high quality spear. For weapons, high quality gives it an accuracy +1, so it would be a more accurate spear. It's an amazing parting gift. They trained in spear combat together. That's how they became good friends. Is that the lessons, spear lessons together. And so Erwin wanted to give him this high quality polearm, and Justin's like, Erwin, this is amazing. But I know you love this spear. You were so proud when you were able to get it. And Erwin says, yeah, I do love this spear, but I love you too, man. I really wish you didn't have to go, but I understand why you're doing it. And I can always get a new spear, and nothing exciting ever really happens around here. So, but you're gonna be out traveling the roads, and who knows what you're gonna run into. And I would feel better if you had the best that you could have. And so they hug and farewell, and then Justin is on his way. So I'm going to ask now. I'm going to ask the emulator a question. The question is the next town 2 days away? And we'll roll. Alright. We're at a chaos rank of 5. And I'm going to put 2 days away as likely. Right? But it's actually extreme no. We rolled above 96. So it's an extreme no that it's not 2 days away. I had planned to make it 3 days away if it wasn't 2 days away. So now at an extreme no, it is actually 4 days away, which is quite the journey for a low-level character. But let's see what happens. The next scene is going to be traveling for 4 days. So I'm going to do 4 days of travel. I'm going to go ahead and say that the first day of travel is through grassy plains. But there's no guarantee that the next 3 days of travel will be through that. So I'm going to actually use another tool that I have. This is the Hackmaster Game Master Shield, and it has a lot of different charts. It's actually an obscene amount of charts, but one of the great charts that it has is this chart here. It says random wilderness terrain. So based on, you do a d20 roll, so based on what you are at now, you go ahead and roll. So we're in plains now, and I got a 10, so the next day will be in plains as well. And I am going to go ahead and write down each of these now, because I'm going to say my character that Justin is familiar enough with the terrain that he knows what to expect. Alright, and now an 18. So where does that bring us? An 18 brings us, oh, there's a marsh. So there's plains, marsh. or swamp. And then from the marsh, now we have to make a roll, and we get a 5. So marsh, a 5 is a forest. Okay. So what we have is we have plains for two days of the journey, and then a swamp, and then a forest. So for this first day, I'm going to now randomly determine what the weather is. And for that, I'm going to use a chart in this book, Adventures Dark and Deep, the Game Master's Toolkit. So the way you use the charts in here to determine the weather. So you roll a percentile to get the temperature. And so 44 gives us average temperature, and then you roll for precipitation. Alright, so I got a 60. So 60 light clouds, average with light clouds. And then you roll for wind. 64 for wind will give us a light breeze. Sounds like a nice day. So I am going to put that at a 6. Okay. So one of the first things you do when you go to a new scene is you roll a d10. I got a 5. And so my chaos factor is 5. So that means that this scene is a altered scene. Okay. Ooh. So 4, we got fight. Okay. 23. Fight balance. So I'm gonna say what that means is that it is a fight that is balanced. What I'm gonna do now is go into here and refresh myself on the rules for building encounters and what is a balanced encounter in terms of fighting. Okay, it's important to keep the difficulties from balance. Please consult these charts for relatively balanced numbers for a 4 PC party. I'm a 1 PC party. I actually think I know the right enemy to use. The giant ant would be a perfect enemy for a first combat. This is the giant ant. This is my character. So what happens is he just barely makes it out of town, and he is waylaid by a giant ant, which is interesting to Justin because giant ants usually aren't this far out from the more rocky areas of the north, although grassland is one of their habitats. So the very first thing that you need to do, and there's a lot of things I didn't do all yet, which I should do now. So I need to determine what my character's condition is, and that's a roll of spirit and strength. So I got a condition of 7, which is a good average condition. But in a combat like this, we need to roll for initiative. So I got an initiative of 6. Initiative 6. Okay. Alright, the giant ant has an initiative of 6 as well. Now, the character with a higher condition gets to go first. So the ants have a condition of 4. My character has a condition of 7, so my character will get to go first. But there's something I forgot to do. In the beginning of a combat, you come up with 5 objects that might be on the battlefield. And so I'm going to come up with things like, I'm going to put a thick bush, large rock. We got, let's say, a hole in the ground that the ant burrowed out of. We're gonna say it's early morning, so we're gonna say early morning sun. So the sun's coming in at an angle. Although I don't think I can use that very effectively against the ant, but we'll just leave that. Another thing might be we'll say so we got foliage, and let's put another large rock, 2 large rocks. Oh, I got a good one, a dusty patch of ground where the grass isn't. And so you have several options that you can do on your turn, but the main option that I'm going to pursue is, of course, the attack. Alright, so I got 3, 4, 5, add 1 because it's a Masterwork Spear. Thanks, Erwin. And so then I deal my damage because that hits his initiative of 6. And Spear deals +1 damage, so 5 damage total. The ant has now 9 hit points. Alright. So now it's the ant's turn. The ant attacks with 2d6s. He got an 8, which is enough to hit my character, and his damage deals a d6, which is 4, which will bring my character's hit points to 16. Interesting. I'm just now looking, so he should actually be at 10 because the ant has 1 armor, meaning that any damage he takes is reduced by 1. Alright, so now my character just got bit by the ant, and deciding what he's going to do is try to dash behind the large rock and use that vantage point to stab down onto the ant. So what I do is I am able to remove one of the objects from the battlefield. It doesn't necessarily remove it from the game world so much as it makes it so that I can't use that object again. And what that does is it gives me a +1 on my roll to hit. So now I'm getting +2 to these. I didn't necessarily need it, but every bit helps. So I deal the thing 3 damage. Now it's down to 7. It's the ant's turn. The ant has an MP of 4. One of the options that you can do is you can have your current MP. So in this case, it'll go down to 2 to focus on a given roll. In this case, an attack roll. So this ant is going to focus. He wants to really get. Again, he didn't need it. He rolled. He only deals 1 damage, and the ant climbs up on top of the rock and bites. So what Justin's going to do is then come back here where this dusty patch is, try to kick some dust at it, and then through the cloud of dust stab up on the rock at the ant. 4, 5, 6, enough to hit it, and deals 8 damage to it, which is -1 is just enough to kill it out. Takes that ant out. Yikes. Again, right when he leaves town, he's a little worried and thinks to himself, maybe I shouldn't have took this spear with me if there's ants, giant ants this far, next to town, but I think maybe this was just a freak thing. I'm actually going to go ahead and write down a thread for fun. I was going to say, why giant ants spreading? And I'm going to put a question mark because we don't know if they even are. But it might come up and might be interesting. Now I'm going to do the journey checks. Actually, first thing I'm going to do because my character is a healer type, what he'll do is do herb gathering early in the morning. He rolls his strength and intelligence. So strength and intelligence. So I got a 10, which is enough to pass. So he finds a healing herb. Alright. So he has a healing herb in his inventory. What he'll be able to do is use that to restore some of his lost hit points. Which, he's only lost 5 hit points so far. So there's really no big incentive to waste the healing herbs at this time. And so now we're going to go to the other journey checks. So you have to do the travel check, which in this case is strength and dexterity. The target number is the terrain, which in this grassy plains is a 6. Oh, and I just made it. So success means that the character travels all day without harm, which is great. All day is a long time though. I'm going to say that there is a 10% chance per 8 hours. I think I got that rate from that Adventures Dark and Deep book. So, oh, well, something happened. So the question is, what happened? And for that, I'm going to turn to the Mythic GM Emulator. Alright, so I'm going to ask the Mythic GM Emulator, I'm going to say, is it something dangerous? So I'm asking, is it a danger? So let's roll and see. I'm going to give that, we just fought an ant. We'll just say that that's, unlikely given what he talked to Erwin about. There's not usually stuff. So chaos rank 5, 20. So yes, it is a danger. Because unlikely at 5, I needed a 35 to say yes. So it is a danger. And now I'm going to go to the Perilous Wilds book to create a danger. So we're gonna roll a d12 to figure out what kind of danger it is. It is 5, which is a hazard. And then we're gonna figure out what kind of hazard it is. It is 12, which is a trap. Okay. What kind of trap? It is 2, which is an alarm. I'm gonna go ahead and do so 76 we have mistrust, and 74 mistrust liberty. So what kind of alarm is it? So Justin traveling along has raised an alarm of a traveling merchant. And so this traveling merchant is alarmed to see him. So what's this character's name? Not that Justin's gonna know his name, but 99 is... oh, let's figure out male or female. Alright. Female. Zenza, the merchant, is alarmed to see someone like Justin walking along the road, and I'm gonna ask, is Zenza traveling alone? I'm gonna say that is unlikely. I'm gonna say that she has bodyguards. 37, so unlikely. I needed a 35. So is she traveling alone? No. So I'm gonna just say that she has a D4 plus 1 bodyguards with her, which would be 3 in this case. And so she says, "You there? What business do you have on this road?" She looks very suspicious of Justin. And Justin's just gonna say, "I'm on my way to Central Zone." And then Zenza's gonna say to him, it's interesting to see somebody on the road and you're just out here traveling all by yourself. And Justin's like, yes, I am. And so she's gonna be like, yeah, well, I'm not too sure about that. You've raised my alarm, because I'm not sure if you're some brigand out to attack me, and steal my stuff. And Justin just laughs. I'm just a single. I'm one person. How could I be a threat to you? And she says, indeed, and some pleasantries are exchanged, and Justin's gonna ask, are you traveling this way? Because we're saying it's close to night, so they're starting to set up camp. He wants to know if she's traveling the same way that he is. I'm gonna give that a 50-50. She is traveling that way. In fact, come hang out and let's talk, and we can share a fire. So I have this is for Zenza Merchant. Alright. And I have some characters. They're the mercenaries, bodyguards. Alright. I'll give them names if it seems important. Alright. So of course she's gonna ask, what business do you have in the central continent? The central zone. Justin will be like, well, I'm going to the central zone to meet with Illumina. Oh, Illumina, the famous healer. And he's like, the very same. I hope to apprentice with her. Okay, and I actually forgot to, when I rolled the, to ask the fate chart if she was going the same direction as Justin, I actually got doubles on that roll. 11, doubles meaning double digits, and that double digit is below the current chaos factor of 5, so that means a random event occurs. So I want to go ahead and, whatever's happened, but let's make a random event now. So you go to the event focus table, you roll that. I got 55, so the event focus is close a thread. Okay, close a thread. And then we got the meaning is 49, harm, and 34, harm expectations. So close a thread, harm expectations. So Justin's like, yeah, I'm going to go travel to the central zone and meet with Illumina. Zenza's going to say, you must not have heard, but Illumina is dead. You won't be able to apprenticeship with her. She's gone. It was a tragic accident. So she was traveling to the northern reaches. Battle has erupted there, and she wanted to be on the front lines to administer to the soldiers, and unfortunately was killed. She's a national treasure, and we lost her. And so actually this is a point where I would remove a character from this list, and then I'd also then close that thread, apprenticeship with Illumina. That might also close the travel to the central zone, but maybe not. What I'm thinking is Illumina had some kind of college there. If she's not there, then maybe there's other people, and while Justin is disappointed and devastated, and then the wars erupted. He didn't know about that. Yeah, maybe I want to go, I'm just going to write war in the northern reaches. That's a new thread. Now, another thing too is I established that this was a danger. And if I remember correctly, it was mistrust and liberty So kind of what I started thinking with Liberty, you know, and Mistrust, you know, that they have illegal goods that they're transporting. That's why she's so wary of Justin. And they might, you know, be feeling out whether or not Justin was, you know, a noble person, if Justin is a noble person or not. And maybe they'd try to kill him in his sleep, you know, if, you know, get him to, hey, come, you know, just hang out with us. Or what I'm thinking is what they're trading in is slaves, and what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to bind Justin and take him as a slave. I would think that this, you know, this kind of trade wouldn't, you know, be common in Justin's home area, so they're going to the central zone. You know, there must be some kind of underground in the central zone. So the next scene is going to be Justin wakes up, bound in with a bunch of captive people. How many captive people? I mean, so I would assume there'd have to be some kind of wagons. That's how they would be transporting them. Justin didn't notice there was people in there. Maybe they're, you know, told to keep quiet. But how many people can you reliably transfer? I'm gonna just go out and say, let's say a D4 and a D8, and mix them. You know, that could give us 2. It's unlikely to give us 2. So 9 people, 9 captives. I'm gonna say over 2 wagons, and then with Justin that makes 10. Another thing too is, how did the last scene end? The last scene ended with Justin in pretty good control, so, you know, everything seemed positive, but, you know, it only seemed that way. So I'm going to say that the chaos factor actually went up. Chaos factor 6 now. So what you do then is you roll and see if you get below the chaos factor to see if it's going to change the scene at all. 2, and it does. So on an even, it's an interrupt scene. So we're going to have a scene that interrupts this scene. So the scene of him waking up. Well, what is that scene? So we have to go and create the random event. 21 gives us a focus of an NPC action. So that means we actually have to randomly determine an NPC or go with one that makes sense. So I want to see what the meanings are before I... Alright, 24 is dessert. 71, dessert a representative. What happens is, so we got a dessert a representative. So I think what's going to happen is something's going to happen with her bodyguards and deserting Sensa, but why? The question would be why. So I'm going to say that one of the mercenaries, we're going to give him a name, and we're going to use this miniature guy to represent him. His name is RC. RC, you know, whispers to Justin, you know, he wakes up and, you know, he's just like, shh, you know, listen, you being here is kind of a complication to what I have going on. Sensa thinks she's taking these people to the central zone in order to trade them, but I have other plans. I plan to free them. This was a way for us to get free passage with Zensa, and so I want you to know that as long as you cooperate, you should be fine. You can trust me. Justin's, of course, you know, he's bound, and the other slaves are like, yeah, listen to him. RC is telling the truth on this, and so he thinks, okay, well, I guess this is my fate, and he'll probably have a bunch of questions, but RC says, I can't answer questions right now. Just trust that as long as you go along with this, you're going to be okay, and I'll make sure that you're taken care of. And that's the end of my first session. I actually gained EXP. So how much EXP? So equal to the target numbers. The highest topography, which is terrain and weather, was 6, so it's 100 there. And then you gain 50 if your Ryujin user benediction ability. Ryujin hasn't done anything. I haven't even made the character yet. But then you gain EXP equal to 10 times the level of the highest level monster defeated, which was level 2, so we get 120 total. EXP is 120, which is enough to get to level 2. And I have yet to decide what... the main thing you get at level 2 is you get the ability to do, I think, like a feint combat maneuver. And then you also get an upgrade to one of your stats. And I actually think I'm going to just go ahead and increase dexterity. I didn't expect to get a high quality pole arm, so I was originally going to go with intelligence and try to get a dagger as soon as possible and then go dagger route, but with the high quality pole arm, it just seems I can now have a higher, chance to hit, deal good damage, and be better at initiative, which is my goal. So, alright, so we'll pick up, we'll see what happens to Justin in the next session.